Postgame call-in show. I'm joined temporarily by Brian Etheridge, one of the fellow owners of Sikkim 365. We got Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua on the way. He had some post-game media obligations, but he's going to be here shortly. 89-62 win over Texas Tech. What a great win for the Bears. They really got it going in the second half. Incredible performance by Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua. You know, his first action since last year. Very inspirational. We're going to talk a lot about that when he gets here. I thought the player of the game, especially in the second half, was Jalen Bridges.
I agree, yeah.
I mean, he falls hard on his back or butt, and didn't think he was going to play. I didn't think he was going to go back in, and he had an incredible second half. He ends up with 18 points on the game. He also has 8 rebounds, tremendous efficiency. Adam Flagler, you know, very efficient, 13 points, but 8 assists and 1 turnover. Just took care of business. That's what you want to see against a Tech team that has a couple guys injured. You know, they come to the Farrell, and you want to see Baylor take care of business and really handle things, and they just blew them out in the second half.
I mean, it's a 23-point difference between the first half and second half. That's the thing that I took away from it, is just sort of they pulled away. Bridges came on. George came on. Flagler came on. They did some solid things there in the second half, and Texas Tech just sort of went cold, and that was the end of it. And that was just a beatdown of beatdowns, and I think Ashley's doing some cleanup here, maybe some sweeping. Is that what that is at this point?
I'm a little disturbed that our crew has left the desk so dusty. So I brought this from my car. It's a little mini broom and what do you call these things?
Dustpan.
Dustpans, yeah. So I figured I would tidy up a little bit. But speaking of that, you know, it brought to mind a memory. Last year, Texas Tech swept Texas, and they swept Baylor. And I heard a lot about that from Texas Tech fans. So it's nice to return the favor.
Always.
So now Drew is 2-2 against Mark Adams. And, you know, they look like a team that has some problems. I did, you know, their 2 best players, Jalen Tyson, who's a terrific prospect, and then Davion Harmon, not the most efficient player in the world, but he controls the ball a lot. You know, I didn't like the body language. I mean, we're sitting there right in front of the bench. You know, both of us were. Seth Russell's in studio also. We got Jack, we got Levi, we got Emery on the board. But the body language for Jalen Tyson was, I mean, competitive, but a little bit too chippy. I think they got some things to work on.
I think so too, and that's what we noticed. We were talking about during the game, so with Seth and then everyone around us that wasn't a Tech fan. Somehow we had Tech fans right in front of us and right behind us. Down in that section, and those are the ones that go up for sale by Baylor people. So we saw just how much they were bickering, and it was bickering between the team versus. And I think that some of that's youth and experience. This is a youthful team that Texas Tech has out there, and Harmon has sort of been somebody who takes the air out of the ball and doesn't really play well with others. Is the way I look at him when he played at OU, even where he just. You know, pass the ball, man. Give it up. I mean, he shot 18 shots. I mean, there's nobody else that got even near that. I mean, one guy had shot 14, and that was Tyson. And Tyson went out there, and, you know, I liked his competitive fire. I didn't like the way he was behaving after some of that. I think he was being a little bit of a bad teammate with what he was saying to his teammates versus you know, the way he carried himself. But he was chippy. I mean, I think if you play on the Baylor team, everybody like, yeah, you know, the chippy, happy you have him. But when you're losing, it's not a good chippiness to have that kind of chippiness with you.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And, you know, we're not going to talk too much about Texas Tech other than I'll make this comment. When they got Davion Harmon, I told some of my friends that are diehard Tech fans, I said, you know, this could be a bad sign for you if you're going to rely on him to be your primary point guard, because word on the street was – OU and Oregon both didn't really fight to keep him. Yeah. You know, I mean, there's some issues, I think, and I don't know, you know, character-wise, have no idea. He made some tough shots today.
No, he did.
He ended up with 20 points. He has 2 assists, 2 turnovers. But I'll tell you the stat that really sticks out to me is this one. Incredible job by the Bears on the defensive glass. Normally, a team will get at least 25% of their offensive rebounds. Elite teams will get 35 to 40%, and Baylor's sometimes been over 40%. And obviously one of the best offensive rebounding teams historically. They give Texas Tech only 3 offensive rebounds in 31 misses, I believe. So that is unbelievable. So they, you know, 10% of Texas Tech's offensive rebounding opportunities, Texas Tech got it. So great job by the Bears, just boxing out, getting defensive rebounds. Really proud of them for that. And a big reason why they were able to get, tremendous separation. The Bears are now 17-6, 6-4 in the league.
Yep.
In pretty good shape as they get Oklahoma next Wednesday. And Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua makes a big difference, especially on the defensive end. Communication, energy,
intensity. It all turned up immediately.
Great pick setter. Yeah, he just plays with such passion and energy that I think it gives everybody else a lift. And I thought it showed, and really gave Baylor an opportunity to play like they're capable of. He's a really key addition to be Captain Obvious.
I think the one thing about him right now that we still can't expect him. He's nowhere near 100%.
Yeah,
but he did things today that the team has been missing.
Yep.
He's almost like a glue energy guy that went out there and did things that we were looking for earlier with the team. We thought maybe Loner would be that guy,
right.
But Loner even picked his game up a little bit so. I think he's going to learn from John to go out and play even harder in the intensity level coming up, because to get those minutes, you're going to have to. I did think that Tech did go after him a couple times to dribble drive at the top of the key. They should, because he is coming back. His feet probably are not where they should be. In game shape yet of getting out there and moving, and he is not in game shape. And, you can practice and you can ride a bike, you can run as much as you want, but you're not going to be in game shape until you're in game shape.
Right.
And you could tell he got a little tired there at one point toward the end. But, man, it's a magic moment to go out and see that guy come back and play. Even the Tech fan behind us was almost crying about it, telling his sons how special it was that he was playing, and that was the game. His dad was like, I was here when he got hurt.
Yeah.
And I saw it happen, and I thought he'd never play again.
Right,
and he's telling his sons about it. We never thought he'd play again.
Yeah, pretty emotional. Yeah, great time at the Farrell. Everything you would want to script it. Obviously, you would hope that they would blow them out in the first half. It was a little bit, nerve-wracking. Yeah. But you felt like Baylor was the better team. Texas Tech was making difficult shots, and Baylor was missing shots they normally make. But in the second half, they really turned on the gas, and exactly what you want to see in a home conference game. Especially against a team that is last place in the Big 12. Tech's 1-9 now, and their only wins against Iowa State, who blew out Kansas today.
Oh, really? I haven't seen any of the scores yet.
Yeah, they're tough. How's that? Oklahoma State is holding on to that lead.
Yeah, they're up 5
right now. Yeah. So they had a big lead on TCU, and they're coming down the stretch. But and then I think was there another Big 12 game that is already finished? I can't remember. I think the other one's maybe tonight. Yeah. Big win for the Bears on CBS, prime spot, good opportunity to showcase, great atmosphere, sold out atmosphere.
Raftery in the house. We always love to see that.
Yep. I can't wait to watch the game on replay.
I'll go back and watch it just to hear him call the game.
For sure. Pretty big win. We got some calls. I know people are probably wanting to call and talk to Jonathan, but until Jonathan gets here, you got us.
You got to be disappointed in me sitting over here. Yeah, it's a little bit of height difference. I'm not sure if you noticed, but that happens.
Emery, we got some calls in the hopper.
Yeah, we got Brian from Victoria, Texas.
Hey, Brian. Welcome to the postgame call-in show with Ashley Hodge and Brian Etheridge. Love to hear your comments.
No, John. Oh.
Yeah, he's coming. He's coming. He's coming. But not here yet.
Well, I got a bunch to go through. But I have a question for John at the end, and if you'll give it to him,
sure,
later. But anyway, man, okay. So it was, at first when I was watching, of course, they weren't shooting well right at the beginning, and I thought, well, that's how games go. Sometimes we don't shoot well, and then we start getting hot. And so, but man, when John walked onto the court, man, when he came onto the court, I wanted to cry, but I was jumping up and down and yelling so loud I couldn't cry. So, and then when he crossed the center spot, the spot on the, on the floor where he actually had the injury, that just, man, I really was just, I'd explain more to you and everything, but I don't think you want to, the idea of an overweight, middle-aged, 40-year-old man jumping up and down. Anyway, so, he came in and immediately, John come in and immediately raised the energy. I mean, y'all already mentioned that. And credit Tech because they kept scoring. But, they came in. But speaking of John, our post guys, man, our inside game today was great, man. Loner making the dunk and then also on the glass like we were talking about. And the guys were hitting the glass hard. I mean, I like to say they were cleaning up the garbage. They were doing so good. Hey, that play when Flo took the assist from Adam and made that drive and for the basket and the and one, man, if we could see that from Flo like 5 times a game, that was just like a big man post move, like score mentality kind of play, and I was just excited about that. So, Adam's back. I called 2 games ago.
Very efficient.
He was
very
just really
efficient
when he wasn't doing well.
Yeah.
When he wasn't doing too well, and that was the thing. He had 13 points, but he was real selective. The way he didn't just toss up threes. He was just real selective. He hit a few threes. He drove inside and made some. He made some great passes. I mean, he really was efficient today. I was really impressed with him. As great as Jalen was, and as great as Keontae was, I was really impressed with the way Adam just kind of floor generaled and just was real efficient. And then, hey, when John hit that first three, you can tell him this, I replayed it 3 times on my TV. I was like, oh, man, oh, my gosh, just replaying it. It was just so great to see that and see the reaction of the crowd and all. Bridges' dunk on that sequence when he was, basically when they had that passing and everything and grabbed it and slammed it, even though he hurt himself, man, that was top 10 worthy. It ought to be ESPN top 10 worthy in my opinion, but he was great. He was awesome. And I don't know what Drew or John or whoever said in the locker room, but when they came out in the second half, y'all mentioned it already, but the defensive intensity just picked up. I mean, it just was amazing. I mean, Tech was missing shots. They were missing some shots they probably would have made, but the intensity was just the defensive intensity was infectious. Case in point, Keontae's hustle for that 50-50 ball when we got the possession on the
huge.
tie-up. I mean,
he's growing up. I mean, that's what that looks like to me, that he's growing up on that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they hold Tech to 28 after half. I mean, that's terrific. And a lot of that came, like, at the end, some junk baskets at the end. So, like you said, the defensive intensity really picked up. The other thing we haven't mentioned yet is the assist-to-turnover ratio.
Yeah.
26-8.
Yeah.
That's tremendous. And 4 of those were for Keontae. LJ, even though he had an off-game shooting, really took care of the ball, made good decisions, ends up with 4 assists, 0 turnovers.
Yeah.
I love his floor game. Those shots are going to fall most nights for him. And, other than that, you don't have any guys that had 2 turnovers. Everybody had 1 turnover. Mm-hmm. And I will say this. I thought Jalen Bridges' pass, little dump off to Flo Thamba early in the game, that Flo should have probably gotten that turnover. I thought that was a great pass, and Flo just fumbled it and ended up a shot clock violation. So I thought Flo, if you include that one, he also had a charge that there would be 2 turnovers, or a moving screen, not a charge.
Yeah, when LJ Crier's your worst shooter on the day, it's a pretty good day. I mean, he shot 25%. The rest of the I mean, this was
Langston gave us a nice lift off the bench. He's only 1 for 3 from
3.
But he has a nice putback. He also has 4 assists with 0 turnovers. So that was great to see. The offensive ratings look beautiful. Nobody under 100. Everybody over 100 on the offensive rating. 1.27 points per possession. 0.89 for Texas Tech. So. Great comments. You said you had a comment you wanted me to pass on to John?
Yeah, I have one question I want you to ask John. Yep. Well, I actually have 2 questions, but one specifically for John. But if you could ask him what he thought about, as an upperclassman, how they feel when they see a freshman show the defensive intensity like Keontae showed on that play. Yeah. And then the other question I just have for you, Ashley, is I was sitting here waiting, for the game to start, so I kind of overheard some stuff, and I was just wondering if you could tell everybody about your high school dunk story.
That was caught on. That was caught on the audio.
That's great.
Yeah. So this is a story. Yeah. So I was in Poolesville. I was in Poolesville, Maryland, and so I had a little barely over the rim dunk it on a breakaway. And so after the game, my coach, he says, somebody get a tape measure. And he goes and he measures the rim, and it measures 9'10". And he says, see, I told you couldn't dunk on a 10-foot rim. And I was like, you blankety blank. I was like,
I hope
man.
I hope they didn't catch my attempt on there either. I mean, I hope I was off camera enough that I didn't catch that.
That was my claim to fame. I was a 3-point shooter, but unfortunately we didn't have a 3-point line. So that when I played high school, no 3-point
line. Ask John about.
Ask him
please
about.
Ask John about how he felt as an upperclassman about.
Keontae.
Yeah, because it's awesome to see a freshman go after it like that. That's just too cool. Anyway, love you guys.
Hey, thank you.
Great win. We swept Tech, so great, guys.
Yes,
Thanks.
sir. All
yes,
right.
sir.
Take care.
I mean, Baylor swept Tech in everything this year, right?
It seems like it.
I mean, football was a beatdown in Lubbock. Women have won both games, right?
I missed a couple spots over here.
And I believe, and so the men now have won both. What else has Baylor and Tech played in this year? Volleyball?
Softball?
No, softball, not softball or baseball yet.
Did they sweep them in volleyball? I don't remember.
I don't either. I have to get Levi on that one to figure that out. If they swept him in volleyball.
Well, it was a good day. Yeah, it's good to sweep Tech. I remember
in soccer. They didn't win in soccer. Yeah, okay. Tech won in soccer.
Okay, yeah.
That sport doesn't count. It's European.
We're rebuilding. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, we got a new leader in this.
Yeah, TCU's come back. Oklahoma State's just choking it away.
Do us a favor here.
Yeah,
you got to win this.
Yeah.
We got any more calls in the hopper, Emery?
Yeah, we got Justin from St. Louis.
Hey, Justin, how's it going? Welcome to the postgame show with Ashley Hodge, Brian Etheridge.
Hey guys, great to see you. Great to have be had. Disappointed to not be able to talk to John, but equally thrilled to be able to talk to you, Ash and Brian. Awesome.
Thank you.
Worth the wait. Hey, worth the wait. No, actually, I'm in Chicago. I'm at my mom's house for a high school thing, watching the game, and I just this is like the most hyperbolic, unnecessary phone call. I've been listening to you guys chat for like 20 minutes offline. I'm just going to state the most obvious thing that you guys are going to circle back on 10 times, but like the energy John brought. I'm going to say two things. Number one, it was so evident that we haven't looked like that team since John got injured.
Right.
And number two, that sequence with Jalen's dunk at the end reminded you guys of what sequence from Baylor basketball?
Ooh. The one where he hit his tailbone? The one where he hit his tailbone, or which one are you talking about?
Yeah. The sequence where Jalen falls on his tailbone, I thought was the greatest Baylor basketball sequence since when?
Wow. 21 against Gonzaga in the national championship game? I mean, I don't know. Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. The Flatberg kickouts free after the block. I was like, oh my God.
Well,
we haven't seen that.
This probably didn't get caught on camera, but I need to ask Jonathan about this when he gets here. He's on his way. They should be here shortly. When we made that run where Jalen Bridges hit the three in the corner, we had like three threes back to back to back. And Jonathan turns to Mark Adams and gives him the time for a 20-second. And even funnier, Doug Sermons turns to Mark Adams and says to Mark Adams, "Do you want a timeout?" Like, I've never seen a ref turn to the coach and say, "Do you want a timeout?"
Right.
I thought that's what he did. I missed it because I was we're looking through y'all. I thought that's what he did, and that is what he did.
Adams turns to him and says, "Yes, I do want a timeout." So that was like pretty comical. But it's pretty comical that Jonathan did that. That was awesome. So I'll have to ask him about that when he gets here.
Wow.
Good day for Baylor basketball. The future's bright. Jonathan, I think, takes our upside to another level. And, just his leadership, his energy, it seems like just a missing component, it's Texas Tech. They're the bottom of the conference. We got Oklahoma coming in. Oklahoma, as we know, is capable. We saw what they did against Alabama, and we saw what they did at home against us, gave us fits. But hopefully on our home court, you protect the home court, get another win, and then you go to TCU. And obviously that's going to be a tough game, but that's a team we were up, 17 points. So Oklahoma State's still down, or they're down 2 or 3.
No, Oklahoma State's up 3.
Oh, they're up. Okay,
yeah.
Good.
So actually, that was actually 4 threes in a row.
4 threes in a row.
Yeah. So Jonathan hit one, Langston hit one, Jalen hit one. I'm sorry. It was 3 in a row.
Yep.
Then Tech hit a 3. Then Flo got the dunk.
Yeah.
So that was by play-by-play. I don't see the timeout on there, but yeah. That was it was a great sequence, and it just the roof was coming off at that point, and Oklahoma State up 5 just got another block, got the ball back. But
good.
This is that is the best the team has looked. I mean, and to me in 2 years, I mean there was just that intensity level picked up, and that's the thing I've been looking for this year out of this team. It seemed like they got pushed around a little bit in their losses by Virginia and Tech. When I was there and how they played there, and then they played harder against UCLA, and then Texas did the same thing, came out very physical. If it's not getting called, it's really going to hurt Baylor because the guards are 6'3", 6'1", and 6'4". They're not guys that are 6'6", 6'7", that are getting the long arms out there, and it is what it is. You can't really defend against that as an offense of getting around them.
Right.
So that is something that really changed and came back a whole lot, much stronger. So
all right, last time we played Texas Tech, our defensive efficiency on Ken Palm was all the way to like 105 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Now after today, we're at 67. So
it's dropping.
we're putting a lot of better defense on tape. And I think going into this game, we were number 4 in offensive efficiency. We had slipped a little bit after the Texas loss, so now we're back up to number 2.
Yeah, that would.
I think Marquette may be ahead of us. So things look good. Yeah, Marquette is number 1, and the margins are pretty slim. They're a full point ahead of us. But anyway, good stuff. We're headed the right direction in defensive efficiency, and that's certainly a key to having a better back nine. I think we can go 7-2, maybe even 8-1 on this back nine. And if you do that, I think you have a good chance to win the conference. You're going to have to win some tough road games. Certainly the game at Oklahoma State. If you protect your home court, the game at TCU, the 2 games at Kansas, the Kansas schools, they're going to be really hard to win. But with Jonathan, back, that gives you a renewed sense of optimism.
Yeah, I agree.
And thank you for the call, Justin. Appreciate it. Emory, we got any other calls?
Oh, here we go.
T-Rex, what's going on? Let's hear what you have to say. T-Rex, are you there?
Hello.
Hey, guys. Hey.
What's up?
Yeah, I was waiting for the feed. Man, I'm headed back home to Fort Worth, and I ran into the local Pizza Hut, and I was like, maybe I'll get a pizza to eat on the way home. Probably not, very well advised, eating pizza while driving. But there was nobody there. I guess they hadn't left the Farrell Center yet. Dang, I'll have to try, maybe I'll stop at Domino's, see if I can find some Tech alums. Hey, what a game, we were up I think 5 or 6 at one point in the second half, and I was like, I don't know what happened. I must have dazed out, because I look up to the scoreboard, and we're up 22. I don't know how that happened or when it happened, but my goodness, what a game, Baylor Nation. Way to show up. Shout out real quick. I ain't trying to toot my own horn, but if you're listening and you send me tickets to get the students or other fans, shout out to y'all. We got 147 tickets distributed before tip-off to other fans to get to the game. Home court advantage is all that matters. So sick 'em to y'all. Man, shout out to Mark Adams. Shout out to the cactus emojis. Shout out to all that talk about winning the Natty this year. I don't know where all that talk went. 1-9. Couldn't be me. I wish John was here already so I could,
What would you say to him? What would you say to him if he was here? What would you say to him?
Just thank you. Thank you for not giving up. Thank you for.
He's here now.
Fighting through it. Oh, well, hey, dang. Look at that, man. Well, thank you, man. Thank you for always encouraging everybody, persevering, never giving up. Hey, as I always say, never give up, never surrender. Raise the black flag, Jonathan. Because swiggity swooty, we just took a big sick'em to that Tech booty, baby. Whoa!
Thank you, sir.
Yes,
Appreciate
sir.
you.
I'll see you on Wednesday, baby.
All right.
Sick'em Bears.
Thanks, Travis. Appreciate the call. Hey, Jonathan, good to have you. First of all, and I got a few things I want to ask you. When you first came on the court and you got the standing ovation, what's going through your mind? What were the emotions when you first stepped on the court?
I was really thinking about 2 things. The first one, I was just so glad the Lord just put me in this position, just gave me this platform to be able to be a representation of His miracle in our daily lives. And I was just so grateful to see my girlfriend in the stands. She's been there from day one, helped me going through this process. And
yeah.
I was just so glad she was able to just witness what we accomplished, because this is not just me. This was both of us.
Yeah, I talked to you briefly last night, and as we were preparing for this show, and by the way, this show is brought to you by Bill Rosenberry, an attorney who's sponsoring this post-game show with some generous support. So thank you to Bill for doing that. But we were talking, and you were telling me that, you said you're not going to go catch a lob at 12 feet like you've done in the past, probably not today, maybe in the future. But you said you really liked your game and how you've, progressed because you've been able to take a step back, work on your skill set. I've heard that you're shooting 500 threes a day. That showed, right? 2 for 2. Can't get better than two out of 2 attempts. You made both your threes, which was awesome. How did the speed of the game? I know you've been practicing, but was it an adjustment getting in an actual game situation from?
It's true that I've been practicing for a couple of weeks now, but at the end of the day, there's a difference between game speed and practice speed.
Right.
So when I just got in with it, excitement and everything, I felt the game was going a little fast. So I got back to doing what I really do, just play with a high motor and talk. So then second half, the game actually slowed down for me. I was trying to find my little steps in the game, trying to see how to guard people, because at the end of the day, I'm a different player, different athlete, but still a great athlete. Just trying to find my game again, trying to see how I will guard, trying to see how I can affect the game off the ball, trying to see how I can impact my teammates, keep them accountable, and just elevate the level of the play.
Yeah, that was great. All right, I have to ask you about a sequence. There was a run that we made where I believe he fell down after securing the rebound. Jalen Bridges hit a three in the corner, and I noticed that you gave the timeout signal to the Texas Tech bench. Do you remember that?
Yes, sir.
We thought that was hilarious.
That was just me acting out of character. I was just excited.
No, that was awesome. Baylor fans love that in rivalry games. So you're a legend for doing that. And then the second thing I wanted to ask you about is, a caller asked, there was a play where Keontae got a steal. He missed the shot at the rim, but then he showed a lot of toughness to tie the ball up again. And even though I think that was possession Tech, the caller wanted to know, does that inspire you as a senior to see like a freshman out there making those kind of hustle plays? What's your thought on that?
Definitely. First, our teams praise themselves on trying to be the toughest team to win the games. And I feel like in the Big 12, most of the time, they're going to be close games, 1 or 2 position games, so we need to win those 50-50. And I really praise myself of that play. I was going to outfight the next opponent. So when I see a freshman doing that, that just get me going, because I always trying to get on them to be able to win 50-50, because at the end of the day, offense doesn't travel, but defense always do. Your mother always do. How you play always do. So those are little things that translate at next level and also help us win games.
Absolutely. So this is brought to you by Bill Rosenberry Law. We want to give another shout out to him for graciously sponsoring this post-game show. We've got callers that want to talk to John, I'm sure. There were people that were disappointed they had to talk to me and Brian before you got here. So let's roll through the callers. Who else we have, Emery?
We got Don from Waco.
Hey, Don. How's it going, man?
Hey, guys. How y'all doing, man?
Good.
Everyday job, man. Thank you for just coming back and just the excitement that you brought. I think you should just change your name to, like, Everyday Raining Threes,
Three-point specialist.
That second one that you I'm sorry, guys. I was at Lafayette, so kind of celebrating the win, so I had to walk outside.
Yeah.
But that second three that you made, man, starting that sequence of the raining threes, that was, gosh, as a fan, it was so cool to see. And the one when Jalen came in there and just slammed it home and fell, I was hoping he would jump back up, with excitement, so just to keep the momentum going. But that's a great sequence. I want to give a shout-out to T-Rex, okay, for doing what he's doing. I posted on Twitter about him being the Pied Piper of the Baylor University, bringing all his little friends to the game, So what he did, the tickets that he was able to distribute out was just freaking amazing, just to fill the stadium, like he said, just a few calls before me. So anyway, shout out to him for doing that, and shout out for Brian and Ashley for, picking up the slack and waiting for the big guy to come in and, carry the show out. So
sorry about that.
Listen, every day, listen, man, thanks for, like T-Rex said, and everything that you've done and the positivity that you bring to not only to the team but to the community, and the story that you tell, So it's really inspirational. It's really cool to hear. It's really cool to be a part of, So being a Baylor fan myself. So anyway, thanks, guys. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much.
Good stuff. Yeah, I want to say just what's noticeable to me is your energy, talking on defense, just your elite pick setter. I think you just bring like maybe a little something that the team was missing. Just from an energy and enthusiasm standpoint. Do you feel like that's like one of the most vital roles you play? I know you can do that on the bench, but being on the court is different, right?
It's definitely different, and I always believe that everybody's unique. Everybody just bring to the team something that's really specific and something that's irreplaceable. Just like Flo would bring something irreplaceable, Adam Flagger would bring something irreplaceable, even our bench would bring something irreplaceable. I just felt like that every time mattered, just my ability to be a glue guy, to just get the team together and just go make the tough plays, always worrying about winning and just getting my teammate excited about the game. I feel like that's something that we were missing, and I can work myself back into bringing that more.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it showed. It definitely showed on the court. And I also want to give a shout-out to Jalen Bridges. I mean, he falls hard. I wasn't sure if he's going to return the second half just based on the fall, but he had a great second half. I mean, he played extremely well, put up some big numbers, made his threes, did some really good things. So
he was crushing the
glass
really well.
And everybody, yeah. I mean, Countay had a great game. Adam had a great game. LJ, even though he didn't make his threes, he was distributing. LJ and Langston Love, 8 assists, 0 turnovers. And then the big stat to me we talked about earlier is they shot 31 times and they only got 3 offensive rebounds. That's incredible. Like, 10%. Yeah.
It's really good because our coaching staff really trying to make us a better defensive rebound team and trying to get more offensive rebound at the same time. We're always trying to out-rebound the other team because at the end of the day, the second shot always goes in. So I feel like it was a point of emphasis the whole season, and we're getting better with it. So I'm really glad to see how my teammates are stepping up.
Yeah, for sure. We got another call, Emory.
We got Brian from San Antonio.
Hey, Brian, how's it going?
Good. Hey, Ashley. Hey, John. I'm so excited to be able to call in. Usually by the time I drive home, I miss the call-in show.
Yeah. And, the San Antonio number threw me off, but yeah. Hey, thanks for calling. Yep.
Yeah, no, and I'm so excited to hear John's voice. Great game. Man, just great to have you back. But to hit those threes and to spread the court and your energy, wow, it was a phenomenal game. And I think really the team, like as a whole, played like very balanced. If you look at the stat sheets, and like there wasn't like one dominant player. They're just like, I don't know, they spread the ball around very well, and it was an amazing complete game. So it was very exciting to watch. Thank you.
Yeah, for sure. What's I'm curious, you mentioned Lauren and her support, through this all. And we've interviewed you over the summer, the two of you together. But the days that, you just like, it was such a grind mentally and, so hard to do the rehab. I mean, did all those thoughts come back to you, pregame maybe, or did like once you get on the court, were you just flushing all that and just focusing on the task at hand?
Well, to be honest with you, all those stuff came back last night because I really wanted to be locked in for the game. Since it was an all-day game, I wanted to just step in the arena with one thought in my mind, just to win.
Right.
But definitely.
Yeah. So last night you reflected a lot. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Very good. Hey, thank you for the call, Brian. Appreciate it. Emory, we got more? Yeah, we got Jonathan. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? How you doing? Welcome to the Postgame Show, sponsored by Bill Rosenberry Law with Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua and Ashley Hodge.
Yes, am I on? Is this on?
You're on. You're on.
This is Gunny Hartman calling from San Francisco. How are you guys?
All right, we got some shtick going here. All right. What questions do you have for Jonathan?
I just wanted to know real quick if Jonathan thinks that Coach Mark Adams looks a lot like that Austin Powers guy from the movies. I think he kind of does, so I was curious to know if that's what Jonathan thought. But on a serious note, I am so excited that Jonathan came back. He did such a great job today, and I look forward to posting about it on the board. So remember, this is Gunny Hartman. Bye, guys.
Thank you.
Hey, thanks for the call. Yeah, it's funny. I've heard the Austin Powers comparison, and then this is before your time, but Pat on Saturday Night Live. Pat on Saturday Night Live. Recall that. Yeah, and then the other one was Janet Reno, the Attorney General. There's been some comparisons to Mark Adams. Pretty unfair, but the Austin Powers is probably the better one. Yeah, for sure. Great call. All right, Emory, who do we got? All right, Jonathan from Grand Prairie. Welcome to the postgame call-in show with Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua. And by the way, for those listening to this, 254-339-1122 is the number. If you'd like to ask questions to Jonathan while he's here, please call in. We'd love to hear your comments. So, you said Jonathan, right?
Paul.
Paul. Hey, Paul. How's it going?
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Good.
Jonathan, it was great seeing you out there on the court.
Thank you, sir.
Especially with your story, how this happened. I mean, what a magnificent display. And really proud of you and also the team for supporting you to get back into the shape. But what a fantastic game overall to route Tech. And it was just magnificent to see. That's all I got to say. And go Bears.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. Thank you for the call. Appreciate the feedback. You know, what do you think we need to get better? Like, you're practicing with these guys every day. You know, I was talking to a coach this week, and he made a comment that when we have a post touch and we actually run the play or the set that's called, that like we score like 1.4 points per possession.
Right.
You've heard this, right? Probably. Yeah. And then when we have to revert to a high ball screen, you know, like kind of chaos mode, it's like 0.5 points per possession. I'm sure you heard this all week in practice. Yeah. So is that an emphasis? Like, let's get better offensively. We got a lot of work to do defensively too, but let's be the best we can be offensively and really just dial in on running these plays well.
Yes, definitely. We just need to focus more on attacking the paint, getting two feet in the paint, because most teams are actually scoring the paint against us, and it's a Big 12. Those are an easy bucket and be able to get on transition. I feel like we can do a better job at that, doing a better job at running plays, because I doubt people can actually guard us when we run our plays right. And from the defensive aspect of it, we just need to get more steps, just get more kills. Kills is just 3 stops in a row, be more motivated about our defense, and just go on with it. I feel like we're going to be an excellent team if we keep on doing that.
Yeah. You know, so I'll ask you about a sequence. Davion Harmon, I think he shot 2 3-pointers on you. He made the first one, and he's only like a 25% 3-point shooter. So maybe the scouting report is
you got to play their hard. You need to play their hard.
Yeah. But the second one you contested really well, and I think he bricked it off the side of the board, or maybe even airballed it.
That was airball.
Okay. Yeah. Like, you know, was that part of the, like, when you just knew the scouting report, you know, hey, he's 25%. He's a good driver. So I'm going to maybe give him that little step back, you know, 2-3 steps behind the 3-point line. Look.
Yeah. Some of it is knowing the scouting report and just knowing the player that I am now. Like, I won't get all the way up to him to trying to get the ball back. And I also know where he want to drive. So I got to shade off that side. And I know that I can, trust my teammates to have the rim to be able to take a charge if I ride the hips. So I feel like that's part of our defense. Like, when we really click, we all play at the same time. It's not only one person guarding the ball, it's literally 5 person guarding. So I feel confident enough to force a player to do like what they don't want to do. Davion Harmon is a great player. Just I need to give him his flowers, but at the end of the day, there's some things that you can do, some things that you cannot, and we try to make sure that we didn't make him look like what he wanted to do. So.
Sure. We got another call, Emery?
Yeah, we got Greg from Tulsa.
Hey, Greg, welcome to the post-game call-in show with Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua. Am I pronouncing it right?
Hey, Ashley, thank you so much for having this show and bringing Jonathan on today. Obviously, he's a fan favorite, so we're excited to see him back on the court. Mike, I got 2 questions. Jonathan, what they say for athletes, it's super hard, feel a lot of loneliness at times as you're trying to rehab, as maybe the team's traveling and you're not getting to travel with them early on in your recovery. Tell us a little bit about that and how you got through that, and any of the anybody, maybe you've shared a little bit, but anything that helped you get through that. And then also, since you weren't able to move around as much, did you work on your 3-point shooting more in the interim while you're trying to get your legs right?
Yes, definitely a hard process, especially right after the first surgery, because you really can't travel with the team. You're really locked in your crutches, and you start hating them. But it's definitely a good thing, because at the end of the day, the only way for you to help the team is to get healthy. So you focus on that. You stay at home, you do rehab, you lock in on that. And from the 3-point shooting aspect, from day one, I knew that I couldn't use my legs right after surgery, but I could still do foam shooting. Like, I would do foam shooting to the point where my elbow would be hurting. So I've done a lot of that, and I knew that all these months that I knew we're gonna be ahead was actually just a blessing in disguise because they gave me the chance to just work on my game with no pressure to practice or to perform right away. So I was just kept on working on my game all these days and just evolving and just keep on progressing and then starting practice and starting warming up with the team and playing today.
Yeah. So I'm curious, like you've been practicing for a while, and initially I heard a rumor, probably didn't come out of your mouth, that you might play your first game on the road so that you wouldn't have the pressure of the home crowd, for your comeback. But was today always the target? Did you kind of always target this game, maybe this day?
Actually, I never really had a target. It was really depending on how my knee feel and my mental state is too.
Right.
And I was always evaluating myself every week, every Sunday. How do I feel? How did I practice this week?
Right.
Does my knee feel safe? Do I feel like I'm getting used to the brace? Do I feel like I'm okay if I don't play well? Do I feel like I want to take the next step? So I was always like evaluating myself and also evaluating my mental state. And until this week that I actually felt really comfortable. And then when I made the decision, the closer as we get into this day, the more I felt like it was the right decision.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I know obviously you could have made all your shots, or you could have, you had a nice little jump hook in the lane that just didn't go in. You had the charge, but I mean, you got to be happy with the way you played today. I mean, for your first game back, are you satisfied with, or do you critique yourself to, you're like, I did some things wrong that I need to.
I always critique myself.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what makes me a good player because I'm trying to be a perfectionist. But I'm just so glad and just feel so grateful to be able to be out there. I feel like it's just a blessing by itself and a miracle. And I'm just worrying about that now.
Yeah, and when we talked last night, you said you like that walking miracle is a phrase you've really cling to, and you mentioned you just want to be an inspiration, to show how Christ has used you to have a platform for other people. There's other athletes that may be watching this video and drawing inspiration from you. What's your message to them, to anybody that's out there that's going through tough times with injuries or anything?
One thing that I realized, and that my girlfriend and people around me taught me, that is with faith, consistent hard work, and just discipline, you can do anything. At the end of the day, you just got to pray for it. Like, there's nothing impossible as long as you pray for it and work on it. Like, God is going to be able to make things happen. Like, literally, I need to walk around with a brace. Like, I'm not supposed to be able to play the game of basketball if this injury happened 10 or 20 years ago. So just being able to walk around, go to the kitchen, get out of the bed is just a blessing by itself because I'm wearing a brace. So it's just a quick reminder every time that God is actually lifting me up.
Yeah, that's good stuff, man. Inspirational. I know there's a lot of teary eyes when you stepped on the court, and especially the video before the game. Very emotional day at the Farrell Center for sure. Emery, are we out of calls?
Yeah, we still got a few calls.
All right, let's roll through them.
All right, we got Bob from Austin.
Hey, Bob. Welcome to the Postgame Call-In Show with Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua.
And Ashley, the way you're pronouncing Jonathan's name is what I've always heard as being correct. And if that's correct, why can't our SID tell the national media how to correctly pronounce his name? They get it wrong every single time.
Yeah, I know. I know you've probably taken your lumps as far as disrespect with the name. I know people still call you JTT, even though you say don't call me JTT.
Which I'm still mad about.
Yeah,
which I'm still mad about.
You kind of like Everyday John. I think Nunes gave you that.
Yeah.
But you prefer to have people say your actual name, right?
Yeah, I prefer to have them say my actual name. But if they know they can't say it, just go with Everyday John.
Yeah. Any questions, Bob? On the
I wonder now, after his injury, Jonathan may or may not be able to jump like he used to. So would he be willing to take Ashley on in a dunking contest?
Oh boy, yeah. Nerf. Let's do the Nerf. Let's do the Nerf.
Okay, I have one serious question. That is, during the recovery, was there ever time that you had a significant setback so that you had lost traction on your recovery?
Not really, but in reality, the amazing part of rehab is that you take 2 steps forward and 1 step backward, but you need to remind yourself that when you're taking that step backward, you have made so much progress. And I just had to remind myself every time, and the people around me just did a great job to let me know that I'm getting better every day. And I was actually getting better every day. So.
Yeah, good stuff. All right, thank you for the call. Appreciate it. Memory, we got a couple more?
Yeah, we got
hold?
Chris Baker.
Hey, what's up, Chris? How you doing, man? Welcome to the post-game call-in show with Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua. Chris, you there?
Hey, you there?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm here.
Welcome to the call-in show.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah, it's not Baker, but
okay.
I thought it was a different person.
Yep.
Yeah, first of all, John, I wanted to say welcome back, man. We loved you, we have missed you, and what a blessing to see you out there playing today. We've been praying for you, and just want to let you know that you were missed terribly, and congratulations on the game. I do have a question about the game. In the first half, it seems Tech was able to get inside the paint and score. Sometimes it will. And second half, they had a lot harder time. What was the coach and what was the talk at halftime that shut that down?
Literally protect the pen. That is a team. We need to protect the pen. Tech looks to make choose. I believe they were scoring 20. They scored 20 points in the pen that first half. So we had to protect the pen. We had to just look back in on scouting report and know who does what and what they're looking to do. And that was pretty much it.
Yeah. Did a good job, for sure.
Yep. Then we got one more.
All right, one more, and then we got a few message board questions too. We're gonna roll through. All right, Emery.
We got Eric.
Hey, Eric.
From Lubbock.
Welcome to the post-game call-in show with Ashley Hodge and Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua.
Hey, Ashley, this is Eric in Lubbock, and hey,
yeah.
Jonathan. Hey, I just want to give you a shout out. At the game in Lubbock, I think you'll remember before the game, I got there early with my nephews, and we took a picture with you during warm-up.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not going to lie, they're of elementary age, and they were there to get their Baylor jersey signed by Keontae George. But I saw you over there, and I said, hey, guys, this guy's awesome. Let's go get a photo. Well, today I went to my brother's house to watch the game over there. We're both Baylor grads. And the youngest one, he just kept coming up to me saying, Uncle Eric, I got a picture with him. I got a picture with him. So, yeah, you're legendary now, and they're so happy they got a photo of you.
I'm glad I made that day. Thank you.
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Hey, welcome back.
Thank you so much.
Thanks, Eric. Appreciate it. All right, I got a few message board questions for you, Jonathan. All right, so this is from Baylor 91. How did it feel your first play back with that timeout? Okay, that doesn't make any sense. All right, so this is Boxer. Besides you, obviously, who else brings the most everyday John work ethic to the team? And where does your work ethic and passion come from? How can the coaching staff be successful in instilling a little EJ in future Baylor players? So do you have someone in mind that maybe brings that same
on the team?
Yeah, like who's the hardest worker on the team besides you?
There's a lot of names. I would go with Langston Love, one of the hardest worker that I know.
Yeah.
As a freshman, I would go with Caleb Lorner and Adam Flagler.
Yeah.
The leader in their own ways. So
those guys come to mind.
Definitely.
Yep. And where does your passion come from? Like, was that instilled in you from a young age, or is that something you've developed as you've gotten older?
It was instilled in me from a young age. From my dad, he came from nothing and always taught me that you need to work 5 times harder than the next man to even have a chance in life. And I just kept on believing in that and just use it as a mantra, and that's just how I go by life.
Right.
Just always trying to outwork the next guy.
I have my own thoughts about this last question, but how can the coaching staff be successful in instilling a little EJ in future Baylor players? I mean, do you think that people, you almost have to recruit guys that are already that way, right? I mean, once they get to college, it's hard to like change somebody's habits to make them a hard worker. I mean, have you seen transformation once people actually get to campus, or is it more what you are in high school is what you're going to be in college?
It's actually a tough question because I believe it's all about culture.
Right.
And we believe that culture doesn't graduate. A Baylor culture has always been about getting into the gym, keeping the gym busy, having literally no basket to work out because everybody's out there. So I feel like the more we do that, the more it's going to stay and stick with a Baylor culture, because my work ethic even got what it is right now because I was around people like Davion Mitchell, Matthew Cheek.
Right.
We're just living in the gym
Right.
rats. So being around them helped me a lot, and I feel like that's what's going to happen to future generation. We're just going to make sure the culture doesn't graduate.
Yeah. Good Good stuff. All right, this is Lanky Lefty. He says, with the journey that both you and Josh came to play, talk about the experience with the NBA Global Academy, Basketball Without Borders. How do you see the growth of the game in Central and Western Africa over the course of the next 10 years?
I feel like the game is going to need to be more globalized, and that's what's going to happen. There's way more prospect coming from Africa, and at the end of the day, they just miss facilities and just structure. And for the past couple of years, there's been more African people getting drafted. There's been more African people in the NCAA and actually playing well. So I feel like it's just going to keep on growing. That's really what it is.
Right. All right, this is a comment. EJ, you carried the team today, and now you're carrying the post-game show. Is there anything you can't carry? All right, we've got some jokes here. All right, so Rifle Bear, are you a better three-point shooter than Flagler and Cryer and Keontae? The stats don't lie.
There's no real stat if it's only after one game. Only time will tell.
Small sample size, but hey, you can't beat 100%. And you were, 46% last year, right?
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, all right.
Well, I only played half the season, too.
Well,
so.
True. But, I mean, LJ's a great shooter, and I think he's like maybe close to that in conference play, but on the season, Adam was up there for a while, and maybe after today he's closer to that. All right, we got more questions about your three-point shooting. Let's see. Any other questions here? Just making sure we cover everybody's. The commander was back today. Justin Cates, he's a great leader and communicator on the floor. Praise God for his awesome story and great game. Yep. Good stuff, man. Well, again, this has been brought to you by Bill Rosenberry, very gracious to support this post-game show. We had Emery on the board. We have a good audience here. We got Sam Bradshaw and his daughter. We got Seth Russell. We got Brian. We got Lauren. Is that your sister, Lauren? Best friend. Okay. Yeah. Great to have you. We got Jack back there on the board as well. So you've been listening to a Sick'em 365 post-game call-in show with Ashley Hodge, Jonathan Tchamwa Tchatchoua after Baylor's 89-62 win over Texas Tech. And once again, we have to give a visual here. Let's make sure this studio is nice and tidy. We're going to clean up all this dust on the desk. All right, you can't win. What do I always say? We're 17-6, and you can't win. You can't go 34-6 until you go 18-6. So beat Oklahoma. Let's do it. Thanks, John. You're an inspiration. Appreciate you, man.
Thank you for having me.